Here, yo, oh, they gave up. Oh, no, they did. I was gonna say, see, the eye gave up, but it did. So hold on, I wasn't looking for the eye to give up. I'm just gonna keep my eye on. So let me make sure I'm good here. Now I told y'all when I be looking here, I be looking also at the stock market. So there's a publication. It's called. I just was telling you, not a publication. It's a law. It's called the Dodd-Frank Act. Right here. So I didn't know myself that there had been a publication of the Dodd-Frank Act, and it's really a stress test. See, so I was when when I was doing what I was doing, it got to a certain point. You can't say certain people's names on here, and you never know who you related to. You don't pick your relatives. And I was telling you how what's that lady name? I was telling you about Lil Kim and Martha Stewart. And her friend gave her some information that he's going to lead a company, and so she got rid of her stock in the company. So they booked her for 6 months. This time that I got locked up in the feds. So let me reiterate: I'm not dealing on any inside information because I don't invest in the stock market. I try to give y'all a heads up, give y'all the game. Tonight I posted some people might have took it the wrong way, and if you did, I'm sorry. I don't got time to be going over people's feelings, but and it's when I said it, I meant it in a good way because if Sean Combs gets got locked up, he only got a certain amount of time. but they took his they took his money and his properties, and I don't know if motherfuckers just if y'all worried that whatever if something was going on in the house. I don't give a shit what was going on in nobody house. I know my grandmother when she bought a house, she didn't care that who stayed in the house, what they did in the house. She blessed the house with oil. So I wouldn't care what was going on in the house, and I don't know if anything was going on in the house. Well, they forfeited or they announced the forfeiture of um, whatever you want to call them, because some of the names that they have on his indictment, people don't want to call him that or whatever. The man's name is Sean Combs. The government is trying to go after his houses. They're trying to go after everything they took, but they forfeited it to the marshals. That shit going to the marshals. It is better that it fall into the hands of somebody that look just like Sean Combs, not necessarily his kids or anything, but somebody that has the same color of skin. That this stuff goes through our community. So since nobody went and bought it, somebody, yeah, somebody must be scared to touch it. He left some cash and he left a whole bunch of Apple products. I don't care nothing about the Apple products, but I care more about that's the land, those properties, and what this stress test from the banks say. That's all I care about. Not because I love money, but you can't eat without money. You can't buy. You can't do anything without money. And I'm quite sure when he get out, or whatever, how much land he got, or whatever, if nobody grabbed it, you somebody or so the family grabbed it because I don't see anywhere in there that he told on anybody. And loyalty should always be rewarded. You know, his past, I don't care about his past. I ain't grow up with boy. I don't know. That's something that people are saying. But he was on an indictment by himself. That's the stress test right here. Four, I want you to look at the banks. See, I'd rather look at the one where I already highlighted everything. It look like we're gonna have to highlight them again. The thing is, you want to keep trying to think I don't know this game. I'm telling you, I learned this shit in 10th grade. I will never invest in the stock market, and I don't like big banks. But not only did one president mess the economy up with giving these banks this money or whatever, another president from, you know, he was able to fund it and provide a way out that no one else would have been able to do that I know of. So, see, this is 2026. If I wrote a paper on this because of a book I read and they sealed it, who would give me this? Who would give me this if I showed you that I put $1,000 worth of securities into the banking system, and that's how I purchased my house with no mortgage, or you can get a grant. So I don't know who gave me this, who sent me this. I don't know nothing, and I hope that when I say that you family or whatever, you don't know nothing. We don't know nothing over here. We let them people talk. Now, whoever, put that thing together over there with like the Mokri troll beef sector and everything, where people talking about kids and all that stuff like that. I don't give two shits about that. I don't. When I be putting up these little things, I'm like, don't nobody own me. Don't nobody own me. Don't nobody own me. And when I say I'm gonna whoop you, like I'm gonna whoop you, like they put the belt like they beat slavery. I mean that, but not in a way that I'm gonna harm you. What I'm saying is, I'm gonna hit you with this knowledge, with this game, because nobody, like, if you lose money, how many people could tell you how to make that money back in the stock market? Everything is like guesstimation. They can't tell you what the stock gonna be tomorrow. It's gonna open, but they damn sure can give you one of these right here and tell you what they think it's gonna be for the next, from quarter one this year to quarter one of 2028, and that's what we concerned about, because it tell us how we need to act. So here are the banks that participated, and I just want you to see what they doing. I would do this one because I know somebody has a loan with this bank. I've been fighting this bank for the BOA name since I made it. Fighting that bank. Capital One, I just showed y'all that Capital One got booked. Citigroup always, cause that's important. I don't know if I had anything with Fifth Third Bank, so I'm not gonna highlight that. But I always hold to them. Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, Key Corp, and I'm also do this one right here because it's a Chinese bank. And this is the bank that was ordered to take my funds, and then I can't find that anymore. And everybody know about U.S. Bank Corp and Wells Fargo. We'll go with TD Bank too. Synchrony. I know some people probably have those credit cards and they have them with Synchrony, so we'll highlight Synchrony Bank too. USB Holding America Holding. I think USB is over. It's in the UK. So this just shows you nothing but the graph that it had since then till 2026, the first quarter. Let's look at expense projections. Now, what you could do if what will happen right now, and I'm not saying to do that. If everybody wanted to go get their money out the bank, the bank wouldn't be able to survive. But if you have enough land, you can bail out these banks, or you can buy them out, or you can put them. You can do whatever, take whatever steps necessary to secure your money if you have your money in these banks, and you can back them up. Depends on what you want to do, how you want to assist the economy. You want to go get some Gucci's, you want to go get a car, all these fucking depreciating assets and all of that, or do you want to put your money on something, or have your money? Yeah, you've been giving these jokers with these mortgages. You've been giving them your money anyway. They don't own your that money. You're giving it to them when you get a mortgage. You giving them money. They don't have. They just don't have no money. The bank them just opened up and just got money. That's our fractional reserve system. So I'm gonna look this up. still stressed no more. I'm always gonna look at them. Look at PNC. Santander, that's like um, a Spanish bank, so I'm gonna look at them. U.S. Bank, they be handling everything, so look at them. Yeah, let me make this a little smaller and let you look at these Jones, these numbers. And I hope somebody took some banking class. I don't have to go through all of this. It's a little bit early in the morning. I had to go over it myself. The median line of two. Look how many bank, U.S. Bank don't make it. Wells Fargo don't make it. PNC don't make it. J.P. Morgan Chase barely making it. At all. And then this bank. I have a problem with this bank. Citizens Bank. Now, mine, look what this says. This is their projections for 2 years. It's just pre-tax income. So you know how the bank gets paid is through all of the fees that they charge you to go to another Mac machine. All of these fees, that's how they make their money. Everything else is your money. And then they have all of these special programs, but it's you giving it to the bank. So you said, man, fuck that, I ain't getting no money. I'm gonna go get a grant. And don't go to the bank till banks collapse. So my question is, why do people go to the bank to get a mortgage and pay on it for 30 years? And when you sign that promissory note, they automatically take that promissory note and sell it on the open market, the stock market, at face value. So you buy a house 500,000, yeah, you're gonna pay, yeah, like $1.5 million for the house by the time you finish paying. Pay it like three, you pay it off like 3 times because they making money off you with the interest. So if you know all of that and you pay for it with cash, bank don't make no. The bank makes exactly what it's supposed to make. Yeah, you selling this property for 250. Yeah, well, I need And here go 250. What you have if you part of the trust, it's not just cash money, it's land. Money, them little paper dollars, they supposed to be backed up by something. And they're not. So if you got the land to back it up, which I've been trying to show you is land that we have, then I was trying to show you the names of the people that's on that land. I don't say everybody's name for a reason. But I have shown you certain things and told you who comes by and does census and all that and says who's in the property, tell you how much the land is worth back in the day, back in early like 1700s and all of that. The first census, they can't find it, they had to reconstruct it. The second census, yeah, they got, I think they got the census from 17, I think it was 1790, 1710 or 1790, something like that. But the first census, yeah, they don't have that. They got a reconstruction of it. Point is, us as a people, we were striving, and the Black Wall Streets and all of that, they attacked them because we were doing better. These are not those type of days. Ain't nobody flying no fucking planes, trying to bomb us, do none of that because we buying property. But you know how we've been buying property? With mortgages. Now, the property I was showing you, what do they want with that property? They already got Atlanta, and let's just go down into Georgia. Atlanta. They already got Atlanta. Fulton County. Oh yeah, them people gave that joint up smooth. Yeah, them black people down there, them indigenous people that don't want to say that they're indigenous. They want to come from Africa on a boat that they ain't never seen, and all that. That's what they want to do. Let them do that. They got that. But when they start coming in Scriven County, Macon, and all that, I'm not going for that because I'm the trustee of that right there. Scriven, Burke, Sardis, all of that land. What they want our land for? Why they scheduling these meetings without Maine? We already got one sheriff. He got locked up. We have more power than you think we know when we are together. We can get together. Jokers ain't got to be shooting each other, and jokers ain't got to be smacking each other upside the head. Really, just people that you don't trust. Kick them the fuck out the trust, or you know, write them out. Even if they family, be like, look, I'm gonna write this trust up for you. This for you and your family. Y'all go ahead and go your way, wherever you want to go. But a family is not a family by blood because everybody can't be blood related. So some of you just gotta be loyal. How many can be like that? I don't know. All I know is that's all I know is loyalty. So I just said fuck it. I don't wanna see nobody else getting indicted. These got these jokers on right here. If we have to get into it with somebody else, then we need to have that bread. But somebody wants to separate us because they want that property down Georgia. I'm not giving in to them like that. That's why I keep holding in, and that's why I keep making that market. I'm not buying shit. I'm not buying no. I'm not buying none of their stuff. The Dow Jones is down. The Riot platforms, they're down. Google, it's down. Meta is up only 19%. Bitcoin down 0.41%. Why I won't buy Bitcoin? Because my favorite bank is right here. Bank of America. It's down. Amazon down. Ethereum down. These yo, these is all of the drums that everybody is doing. But gold shot up. Now, let me share the screen with y'all so y'all know what I'm talking about, so you'll know why I'm so ambivalent about this. Remember this company right here. This is the company that makes those chips and all of that stuff. And then if you go further, they're the ones that make AMD, which is this laptop I'm on right now, the inner system of it. And somebody got control of it and turns it off and on. And they will. So I keep just turning the shit back on. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not doing nothing. They can break into it all they want. They stock gonna keep fucking falling. I don't care if we go back to the Stone Ages. JP Morgan Chase, they stock down. Yeah, time for James Diamond step down. GM, they stock down. Intel Corp, they stock is down. Silver is up. You got all of these people that telling you this different things. Who you gonna? I mean, everybody has a right to believe what they want to believe. But when I tell you all we had to do is say no, we collapsed this whole financial system, and they had to borrow from us, like they've been doing. Look, I want you to see this. Why the hell is everybody talking about trust now? Y'all ever seen anybody talking about trust? Think about how many times you seen somebody talking about trust. Family trust. Now, yo, look at this. Wall Street Journal. Let's go back. Yo, see if you can go back and let's look. Explain it to you. So they want you to go get an advisor and say they you two times as likely when nobody was talking about this until I said something about that's how I purchased the property was through a trust. I held it in trust. And I said, yo, they gotta fill our trust back up. I don't need no financial advisor. Why would I need a financial advisor to tell me something that my grandmother taught me before these people was around? And she only had 11th grade education. Look, donkey. So I want you to talk to a donkey. Before this, they was telling you all types of tax havens to do and all of that. They wasn't telling people about trust. So somebody hearing us and somebody's getting it out there, but they believe that they gotta go through the IRS and do it that way. No, you don't have to go to the IRS and get an EIN or any none of that for your trust. It's private. It's a family trust. You don't go telling your family business all everywhere or nothing. I know up here we don't have to show our deed or our trust to no authority or anything. The only problem you might have is if you don't file your deed. Yeah, somebody try to come and take land, but yeah, you gonna let somebody gonna come up here and don't show them that you got your deed and trust. You just don't want it. You're trying to stay private. If you want, your trust and it has a bank account and you want to show, and someone asking you for like the source of your funds, and they want to see how much you have in there. If you want, if you buying a house like that, then do it. But you don't have to. Now, all this fraudulent shit that they doing out here now, the banks is fraud and so is the people being taught that they're defrauding. But they're not defrauding. How you defrauding on something that you just signed your name on and giving it to somebody you promising to pay them? And they know that they ain't even supposed to do that. It's a whole scam. When I say a whole scam, the whole mortgage situation is a scam. The Federal Reserve tells you that itself. I read something like they said that it would be better that the United States give itself up to a global economy rather than, you know, remain on this system it is now. And you know what? That might be right. But before they do all that global shit, let me get mines up out of there. Y'all go global and do whatever the hell y'all want to do. Let me get my family stuff that's all down the East Coast. Yeah, some in there because they said Puffy he got some land in Los Angeles and he got some land in Miami. I don't know where the rest of it at, but they said if they can't find it, then the equivalent of it. And it's not to take from them, it's to make sure that it's circulating amongst us. Because we'd love to go and take our money and go and buy other people's shit that we don't make. We can You'll walk right past a black owned or indigenous owned business to go into something that's owned by Mr. Charlie because it got a polo sign on that joint or whatever. If you ever thought that Bitcoin or any of these cryptos, they are a mechanism to make a couple dollars here, there. You can make, and I'm not saying that you can't do it. You can do it, but you can lose too. So I like sure shot things like land that can't be moved, and it's a reason that they want the land, and it's up to you to figure out why they want that land. And if you want to make a deal with them, but I could tell you one of the deals that I seen was, I think it was half a million. It was about $500,000, and they only had like um, $1 million. So they needed 400, 4 billion, something like that. I don't know. I don't really get into it because I don't think the AI, we should be messing with that AI. It has its good points and then it has its negative points. It can it can be good in one instance, but who knows? Just like anything else, people can take it and make it and use it for something that you never saw coming. And would you want to be responsible for that? If they can make AI for somebody to be in America, make a gun, make it thing, and somebody else to be sitting somewhere way off somewhere else, and make that AI machine shoot somebody in another country. Would you want to be responsible for that? No, I don't think I would want to be responsible for that. Know that I signed up for that, and I signed my family up for that because that brings a curse down on us. As far as I can think now, that's something I have to look at because we are supposed to be, we are supposed to protect the homeland. So I may be looking at it wrong because I'm thinking, yo, what if they use that against us? What if these people that's making these against us? Because these companies that are doing it, they're not from America. If they're not our allies, what if they wanted to do something to one of our somebody here? Or like that fucked up ass Tesla car where that shit sometimes, yeah, that shit do have a mind of its own, like a robot. It's something that man created, not something that God created. So if there came up a question and you asking, you wanna give up our land for this amount of money, I would say no. I would say no. But as a family, we vote on things as a family and say this look good. I would rather us go this route. We'll make this because I don't want to go down there, or I don't want to live down there. But me personally, I don't want to live in the fucking city around a whole bunch of these YNs and all this other crazy stuff. I'd rather live out in the country and somewhere, or just somewhere that's away from, yeah, the city. And I want a big old curve so I can see who coming up the driveway. I mean, nice long drawn, so enough time that I can draw on them. If everybody else in the family want to stay, sit on a corner, hey, that's up to them. If they ain't trying to level up, and they in the family, yeah, you want a car, yeah, you know that that's the last thing you gonna get from this trust. The way I set that trust up is the same way Yeah, John D. Rockefeller set his trust up with his kid. You get one loan and you gotta pay it back. People don't want to hear that stuff anymore because they want to have just what's in their bank account. And, what they want their inheritance early. You know, you can make it on payments, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just the way that I think it's best. Because if you look at the Vanderbilts and look at all of these other people, yeah, these people they're not thriving, and now you see J.P. Morgan, Chase, yeah, look at them. Why they shut down? What kind of market we in? Who caused the market to be as it is? The market is based on artificial things like, um, we might get sued for this, and I'm telling you, that Dodd Frank Act, you should be able to get rid of your mortgages and everything if you got a mortgage company instead of it going to a bank. You should be able to get rid of your mortgage. A mortgage company is not a bank. So now Dodd Frank is the Wall Street Reform Act, and when President Obama signed that, and they do all their amendments to it, and then Donald Trump, he tried to knock some of the stuff out. It didn't go through. Some things I think he did change, and they were good changes. But each president is going to look at that Dodd Frank Act, and you know, I don't know nothing about Donald Trump being the last president. People try to put all types of stuff in your head, like, oh, his name Trump, so that means gonna be the last. I don't know when the last president's gonna be, or whatever who gonna be. If somebody gonna be the king, if it was somebody that was gonna be king, I know who I wanted to be the king. Not me, but I know who I wanted to be the king. The person that actually had the foresight to allow the banks to do what they do, and then provide a way out for the consumer at the end of the day, and that was President um, Barack Obama. If they were to have a king, I mean, that would be my wish that he would do that because of the way he treats veterans and how he funded, how he funded the, the Affordable Care Act. That that act was sitting around for so long, and all these Republicans couldn't fund it. He came right in as a junior senator, and bam, funded it. Donald Trump runs the country like a business. In some aspects, that's good, and in some aspects, it's not. You only get 8 years, 8 years in there. I don't know how many terms. So that's one thing I don't know. I don't know how many years you get to serve in the presidency. And then 5. Yo, at 508, these people is listening to me because it said heat advisory in effect, and that shit only cover it's coming from Boston down the coast and it's going to hit in Philadelphia, New York, all of that. Well, man, whatever. This is J.P. Morgan's Jamie Dimon. Margin debt is highest it's ever been. Just like I told you, trading in places, and they had to pay their money right then and there. The Dukes, just trading places. People think the stock market is so high. Yo, really on the stock market, it's like gambling. So let me just give you a heads up. To trade on Wall Street, those men had to do a lot, and those women had to do a lot. So I'm gonna give you some of the stuff they had to do. Yeah, you might bring somebody in that want to buy some stock, but guess what? You can already bring in women. You can already bring a woman in there that is going to loosen this person up. You're going to get some alcohol to loosen this person up. They're going to snort some coke. They're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. It goes in to close that deal. That's why I look at Wolf of Wall Street and I'm say I don't. I'm not the Wolf of Wall Street. I just think like that because I just knew it since the 10th grade. I just when we had to do it for a project, I was like, I ain't doing that shit. Like I wouldn't buy that bullshit. Somebody else makes that shit go up and down for their benefit. That shit can go down because somebody just have a friend and a rumor goes around and they saying, yo, that company, um, so and so got cancer or he got herpes or something. They could just say anything, any type of rumor, and it could mess your company up. Any advantage you're trying to get an advantage, and an advantage that is not guaranteed because stocks. So let's say the mortgage, you lose your job, you don't pay. Now, guess what? Somebody don't get paid who bought that at face value. Somebody don't get paid because you didn't pay that month's mortgage, and somebody's investing in that mortgage-backed security, and they expect they're going to get their pay. So if you don't get paid and the economy's all fucked up, I can't pay the rent or you can't pay the mortgage. Guess what? Stock fucked up. That's how you gotta look at. That's how you gotta look at the bank. What what's their what what do they make their money off? Their most of the money off of the loans. So if they're projecting that their loans will is going to be negative, why would you even invest? Might as well go get cash or go get some gold and do it like in Monte Cristo and dump that shit in front of them. Like, yeah, man, take this. That's barter and selling. You can barter and sell whatever you want to exchange a property. You don't got to get a mortgage. That's what they want you to do. That's what the banks want you to do. Mm-mm. And that's why they don't like trust because trust allows you to pass down without all that court interference and all of that money transferring because it's already set up. So it keeps your tax that down. So to keep the tax that down, then the IRS now they mad because they like, man, if a lot of people know about these trusts, we don't get no money. Yeah, everybody want to get paid. So there gonna be some people they gonna keep getting mortgages. You know what I'm gonna say to them? Yeah, how you? But I refuse where to let anybody take something from me that I paid cash for, so I wouldn't have a mortgage, and then I'm gonna go get a mortgage. Hell no, what I do like? That's hustling backwards. So I've asked, and it's like nobody hear me. So yeah, I'm starting early. I got the report early. Really not early. That shows out in June. This is August, and nobody is saying the stress test for these banks, and they've been allowing Jamie Dimon and all these people to lie to us. But I'm watching them, even if people sleep. I'm up looking and see what it, what the y'all trading, because I know it's trading over in Japan, out this, and then I just know to stop. I know I'm not going to touch any Bitcoin. I just know I'm not buying stock and nothing that has to do with it got something to do with surveilling us, no tech company. I'm not buying no stock. And then I'm just not going to buy any stock. That's one thing that I know that I'm not going to do. I'm not buying no stock. I'm not buying no uncertainty. And that goes for family members or whatever. One day we'll be able to talk and see what we want to do and make a decision, and that be it. That's why I don't even want to be trustee anymore. The weight of it is for one person to know that you got all of this family, you got people getting married, you got people that got kids by people, so now you got to think about all of that. So you got to make sure that you stay healthy. You got to make sure that you got somebody else that knows what to do in case something happens to you. You don't know who trying to get ready to do something to you because they want that position to be the trustee. Or you got somebody that just want to be greedy and just want to be like, yo, can I get so and so, and think they can keep coming back, not knowing that there's rules. You get one loan, you fuck that loan up, you, you're dead. Not dead like in the ground, but yo, you can't grab money from the family and don't pay it back. You can't grab money from the family, buy something stupid, and that's going to make you hustle backwards. The first thing you want to go do is get a fucking car. Yo, that is one thing that I cannot stand about people. That the first thing when they get a lot of money is to go get a car. When that car go right off the lot, lose like 20% of its value. You gonna sleep in that motherfucker? I can't find nothing in the scriptures where it say, yeah, I want them to have cars or horse, and it says he want to have stop. The stop is for the farm. This is when I first started talking about that. All of a sudden, these cows all of a sudden start getting sick. They saying that the cows are sick. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here, well, why the cow sick now? Cause somebody like look like me know, yeah, how much you get for a cow to go clean up your land, just to go eat the shit off the land. The cow you get like $1 million. Go in there, type your zip code in, boom, tell you if you're in the area, boom, you know what to do from there. You should know what to do from there. They give you money just to turn your farm, just say you're going to turn it to organic. They give you money because you know your tribe. Nobody can't tell you, oh, you need a card. No, that's the mother Jones. All you need to do is be on a list or have some proof. Because when you think they was, yo, seriously, when was they doing DNA? How they knew how much blood you had in you, call you mulatto, call you all of these different names. Creole, all of these different names they calling you. But the white people, they call them by one joint, white. But we got like 20 different names on the census. Until you forget. Well, I heard that I had Cherokee in my blood. So if you got Cherokee in your blood, why you not Cherokee? Why you call yourself black? You Cherokee. Oh, I heard I got Creek. Well, you Creek. Oh, I heard I got Seminole. Well, then you Seminole. I'm not. You letting somebody else define who you are? If you have a white mom and a black dad, or whatever you want to call it, which one you gonna say you are? Which you gonna walk around and say I'm mixed? They got a spot on anything say I'm mixed, or oh they say you biracial. Nah, I wish I would call myself biracial. I ain't call myself no goddamn biracial. By who? By who? If we was always here, then my pop or whatever, yeah, he got it. My great grandmother she made him a Delaware Indian. So it ain't no other way I could be other than indigenous or aboriginal, whatever you want to call it. I'm not gonna ready to go with some that Jesse Jackson and some other niggas made, and that even Martin Luther King didn't want to be called that stuff. But they sent some people over from another land, Stokely Carmichael and all of these niggas come over here, and then they want to start this, all these movements and all of that shit, and they ain't accomplish a goddamn thing but division. That's how we are today. Now, I don't care about all other tribes. I care about the ones that got names in common with my family on the Freedmen's Bureau, on the Dawes list, or whatever. If they in common and we in common, we live in the same area, then we cool, we family. You ain't do nothing to me, I ain't do nothing to you. I'm not getting ready to subscribe to all of this other stuff that people want to be called. Yeah, you spitting in a bottle, and then they trying to say that spit is is on every goddamn continent. Yeah, you Viking, and no such thing as Viking, but you Viking, you French, you this, you that. You on every goddamn continent. Your peoples was on every continent. No, because then it go down to that bullshit. You think, oh yeah, we a billion years old. Yeah, you're a billion. This Earth a billion years old. Show me something that tell you you a billion years old. It take you off into all this other shit. So I stick with the Bible, and there's one verse in the Bible that nobody ever talks about, and it says that the Earth was one at one time. It said this is when the Earth was at one, meaning that it just used to be one. It used to be one piece of land, and then all over around of it was water. So when people say, "Yeah, we we are the Israelites," that can be true when the Earth was one. Because if it was one, yeah, you all that. Oh, I'm from Africa and all that. It wasn't that. Come on, stop that. But we do know that you can't look at an African and know the difference between you and an African. And I ain't even trying to be funny. Do you walk around with some flip flops and some goddamn army fatigue pants on with an Adidas shirt or some goddamn uh, what they call that when you get married? Them shoes you wear, them shiny ass shoes. Did you live like that? No, if you were to go over into Africa, you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know how to handle those animals over there. Seriously. I mean, most people, they just think, you know, we, I remember when I was in the military, this boy told me, man, you don't remember we used to eat lions? I was like, who used to eat lions? I don't know nobody right now that eat lions. I said, fuck that eating lions. who who ever heard of that? I never heard of somebody eating lions. I heard of people killing lions, but they ain't killing them to eat them. They kill them for the skin. I heard people from Africa say they don't know nothing. They never heard of Africa. I don't know nothing about nobody going out and I'm telling you what I don't. I don't know nothing about nobody in my family said they was picking cotton all out in the fields and the camera was right there looking out. I don't know nothing about that. I do know that when I go look on that on them Jones, it says that some people was at home when people came around with some people at home. Whoever was the head of the household. How would they the head of the household if they didn't have a house? And they say the person, yeah, that was the head of the house. If it was a man, he worked out on the farm. Then on one side of my family, they say, yo, the head of the household, he owned the store. So why am I supposed to think lower than myself, thinking that damn, yeah, I was working out in the field for somebody else, and he was smacking me with a whip. Cause I know goddamn well he wasn't. Cause I know I ain't even pleasant that. I ain't planning niggas slapping me in my face, so I'm damn if a nigga gonna slap me with a whip. Just doesn't make sense. Matter of fact, you ever went to a museum and seen a whip that somebody used? You see some blood stains on it? You ever hang any of that in the museum? But they could make a ship and have it all around the world, and only got it was from one piece of wood. Nah, I just don't believe all of this, the BS. I ain't got time for the BS. I'm on some real stuff. I don't care about none of this other stuff that other people want to try to do. I care about loving my family right now and make sure that they have the best life. I don't want to see them going to jail. I don't want to see them, you know, if they, you know, dabbling in the arts or whatever, that's on them. But if somebody mess with them because they made that choice, guess what? I'm stand up for them. Yeah, I try to hurt something for anybody in my family because I love them. It wouldn't matter to me if, yeah, they was throwing something crazy and everything, unless, you know, had something to do with some kids. Bro, I'm not getting in that. I don't even want to know that. But anything else, I'm right there. Don't mess with my family, because I'm trying to hurt you. I'm trying to mess with my family name because you didn't, you help them get that. You work with them, you know them. No, don't do that. If I put something up on Facebook, they'll hear me playing the music because I love music. Then I might come up and tell you, look at the names that's singing the song at the bottom. And then you might want to think about, you know, who is Jane Doe and who is anonymous and all of that, and how two giants in hip hop, and I'm talking about P. Diddy and R. Kelly, how they get popped on a Rico joint with nobody else name on there except somebody showing a John, a video. So if you got caught on the video, you know you gotta do that. Like if that's you on the video, yeah, you gotta eat that. But we gonna look out for you. But if you ain't on a video, then no, yeah, yeah, don't get on one. Privacy is Your privacy is everything. We gotta give up some of our privacy in the United States because yeah, that's just how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be. We're gonna give up some of our privacy. You can't go outside and expect somebody can't take a picture of you. You can't go outside and expect that somebody can't film you. That is the Constitution of the United States. Y'all be looking very crazy when you go outside and think that somebody can't film you. They can film you. They don't need a press badge or nothing. It's in the First Amendment. It's just certain things that God has allowed, and some things He don't allow. He didn't. A matter of fact, nobody knows everything about the Most High. Yeah, like how He just create, how the eye work, how He creates something as complicated as the eye, and then man replicates it with a camera. Like this eye that's sitting at, looking at me right now. How it's looking at me, and there's only one of them, and I need two to look at it. I need four because I got glasses. I mean, just think how. Who told you you were spending on a ball? Who told you the sun was 93 million miles away from you? Who told you that? And when I can go right on YouTube right now and show you a balloon and it'll go right up and it'll hit a diamond up there. Who told you there's a space station and that, yeah, this dude from South Africa, Elon Musk, came over here, made a car that can go around the earth, and we supposed to believe that. And that he the richest person on the world. I wish he would hit this link one day. And I seen him smoke weed, so I smoked weed with him. I was like, yo, who the fuck you think you is coming over here telling us that bullshit? Where you get that information from? And Tesla is the name of Nikola Tesla. You stole that, nigga. You wasn't even around. He ain't even in your bloodline. You made a car off of somebody that was a scientist name that called himself Nikola Tesla, and he did a lot of theories. That's why you got all these people talking about, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. Okay, it's a conspiracy theory when me and you go out and then you say, yo, they charge you with conspiracy, and then you say, yeah, it's a conspiracy. You allocute to a conspiracy. Then is it a theory then? No, everything is not a conspiracy. If I go out here and slap a woman or go slap a nigga, that ain't a conspiracy. I slapped this nigga. If I plan with someone to do harm with somebody, that's a conspiracy. What happened to Mo 3? That's a conspiracy. What's going on with the banks? That's a conspiracy. But the decision you make is not a conspiracy. The decision our family makes as a trust, because we trust each other, that's not a conspiracy. We not a gang. We not anything. We are a family. You see them running up in jokers' houses and just locking up the whole family, talking about y'all in a conspiracy because y'all calling yourself family? Well, damn. We can't call ourselves family. We sitting in there, we eating. Let's say we eating. What we doing wrong? Because He just had the UN said that food is a necessity of life, and they had all these votes. Guess who voted that food wasn't a necessity to life? United States. That's not a necessity of life for us to eat. Who went down to the UN and voted that? When the Bible tells so we supposed to eat of the land. So the United States, they just saying, fuck that. I don't care what the Bible say. It ain't, you don't necessarily need to eat. You don't necessarily need to drink because y'all got an ulterior motive. Yeah, you trying to take our water, so we don't gotta drink either. So you can put these data centers up, so you could just be looking at everybody, trying to look into everybody's room. Yeah, man, get the fuck out of here. Mind your goddamn business. United States don't need to know what everybody in the United States doing. Just want to spend money, make all of this money with that bullshit NASA. You know how much NASA robbed us of? Yeah, y'all supposed to have been up in the moon. You talking to the president, sound clear as day. Yet I could sit right here and call right down the street, and that shit be all staticky and everything. You believe this stuff? These people sit in a room, and it be all of these people. When you look at the screen, what the hell is they looking at on the screen? They looking at something going up in the air? No, the fuck they not. They should be going in the ark, slit land right in the water, just like them people that supposedly had blew up, boom, and John was McCullough and all of that, and then they put it right in our face, and the people go right and work at a school and everything. You just gotta look their name up like, damn, I thought you blew up in the space shuttle. Nah, they ain't blew up in the space shuttle. Why you think it now? Yeah, it don't take all that long time. You gotta go past the Van Allen uh, uh, radiation belt and all that. Because people start showing, yeah, man, you said this radioactive, put it right on their tongue. Nothing happened to them. Nuclear bomb. You seen a nuclear bomb? You think God gave us the ability to destroy the whole earth with a bomb? You know how big that bomb had to be? He ain't got no, they ain't built nothing that big that'll, do nothing that destroy the whole earth like that. Now, guns and all that stuff like that, yeah. Jokers got guns and everybody's shooting and everything. But you heard, tell me why you ain't never hear if people get any type of guns or anything. Why aren't you going to get a nuclear weapon and just take out Dallas? Yeah, why they ain't drop a nuclear weapon on Dallas? For most because I'm telling you, if I was the president and somebody I seen out, I'd be like, damn, you got one of them bombs? Drop that shit on Dallas. Yeah, tell everybody else to move back. If they don't live in Dallas, drop one on Dallas. They did that. ain't seen a nuclear war, heard of a nuclear war, seen a nuclear drone, you know what you see on there? You see dynamite stacked up, and everybody always turn their head. So ain't nobody seen shit. Now, what they can do in the Air Force, I know that, is go up into them clouds and shoot all types of stuff up in there and make it rain. Man, they got weather manipulation. I know that. Yeah, you ain't never. They got weather machines. Like yo, you can go and like right up here in Pennsylvania. You go up to you want to go skiing. They can make fake snow for you to go right down there and ski. Shit don't even be cold. So I just be trying to be real about stuff, and I don't like I said I don't like money. Like love it because that's what's the root of all evil. No, I can let that go because the Most High said we supposed to give a tenth of all of our increase. We supposed to give a tenth, then all these type of offerings and to help society. Insurance, they don't know they ain't had no insurance. What as a Christian you ain't supposed to have no insurance. Church supposed to take care of all of that, but people have they divided. Yeah, that just in case stuff. How come if you make a certain amount of money, you don't need insurance? Yeah, if they feel they go get a car and you tell them you make a certain amount of money, they gonna be like, oh, you're gonna take the financial responsibility if you crash or anything. Y'all remember Mike Tyson crashed his car out and just left it? He had a Rolls Royce. He was making that much money. He crashed, boom, got the car, left it, gave it to somebody or something. Did something. He ain't had no judgment against him. He had the money to pay for it. Insurance started in the wars. When you go to war, they used to come out and go to the family like, yo, you want to sign this in case something happened to your peoples? We'll bury them or whatever. Bang. That's how insurance started. That's how these insurance companies started. And I'm not talking down because it's their business or whatever, but hey, that's how it is. I don't mean you gotta live like that. It's a way to play the game without getting played. Just gotta be able to communicate and trust each other. And I'm not gonna say nothing about like I'm gonna tell you when three says I protect your name and won't let nobody talk about you. Yo, that is one of the strongest lines I ever heard because it comes straight from the scripture, but it really comes from Proverbs 31. And it's the woman, how she's supposed to protect the name of her husband when she's out and about. So it's almost like, yo, if you got 31, they're almost trying to call you like you're a bitch or something like that. That's why I don't get too far down into the name because you want to protect somebody else's name because that's your partner, that's your man. Like Jonathan and David, they weren't gay. They was that friends that they loved each other more than a man and a woman loved. You ever read in there that they were gay? They did anything gay? No, he was like, yo, my pop trying to kill you. Better run. War went against his pop because his pop wanted to kill him because he was jealous. It was jealousy because that man was anointed to be the next king. He wasn't gay. It said right there in the scriptures that they loved each other more than a woman and a man love each other. But it ain't say that they was kissing. That they was in the field rolling around and having fun. You know what I mean? And testing each other. Like, let me see a wee wee or not. It didn't say that. It was a they was affectionate for each other because they just clicked. You don't have a brother. People don't have a brother. You want to sleep with your brother? No, you love him more than you love a woman. Like, I ain't ready to let nothing happen to my brother. And dude, people done turn shit around, and that shit, or the way they turned it around, it got us all jacked up. That we can't, don't think like, yo, you don't want to trust nobody because you think they're getting ready to do some dirt to you, and it's a shame that we gotta live like that. And I'm just wanting to try to show you, yo, sit the fuck down. And I ain't trying to be disrespectful or nothing. I told you, if I doxed you, I doxed you to see if you is related to me. I know what I was gonna do. I know what I was gonna do. I know what I can do. And whatever is my private matters, they should have never came on the internet because somebody was jealous. And somebody took and ran with that shit. And this is what you get when you do that. Because whatever happened and got all caught up in this, guess what game I play? The same fucking game y'all play. I play the game. And everybody think I'm lying to them and none of that. Man, I don't give a fuck about hurting nobody's feelings. If you going against the word of God and I'm going against the word of God, we both going against the word of God. I don't play church with one foot in the church and one foot out. Lord, I do want to go to heaven. But somebody said they're going to do something to my daughter, so I'm ready to go to hell. If they don't get this nigga, I got to get that nigga. So if I got to get him and somebody don't want me to put my hands on him, then I got to drop his income. Or that nigga need to go somewhere else. And so my daughter would be safe because you should have never came out your mouth like that. The way y'all people was talking on this internet, I just don't know nothing like that. I don't know jokers this like, yo, suck my dick. Suck your dick. Where that's in the scriptures? Boy, I will break your back. That's in the scriptures. Yeah. You getting thrown into a sea because you touch some kids. That's in the scripture. Yeah, yo, it's 10 commandments. All you gotta do is read the 10 commandments. I'm not trying to covet somebody else's wife, or none of that. I don't care about they what kind of car they got, what kind of if they got a big horse. I just go read coveting. Yeah, cover not neighbor servant or anything, any of that. I don't care like who worked for you or none of that. I don't care about none of that. So nobody should be worried about who worked for me. Don't be worrying about nothing that's supposed to be private. You gotta know everything about me. Yeah, for what? You trying to give me something? You owe me something? Niggas is scared to get on teams now because y'all done fucked the teams up. Everything that we supposed to use on a computer to be able to stay in touch with our family. At Christmas, we used to be able to use Zoom. Now people is like breaking into Zoom. So we don't even have our Zoom meeting. So now you gotta actually go down to see your family or you don't go see them. Because you're like, nah, I don't feel like doing all that driving. I can't drive at that time because I gotta go to work or whatever. Not me, because I don't have to go to work. But they might have to go to work. So it's a lot of variables that go into you being able to actually meet your family, actually able to hug them, kiss them. Not when they dead, when they alive, you just want to hug them. You want them. You want to put your chest against their chest so you can feel the heart, they heartbeat. Because they've been so nice to you from afar and you just never got a chance to meet them. We can't even do that now. Because niggas got hot ass phones. Yeah, I want the iPhone. Yo, everything they took from Puff, go look what they at. Yo, they say he got $9,000 in cash, and then the rest of the stuff they had, all Apple products, all Apple products, all these MacBooks, all these goddamn phones, all everything. I was like, yo, I'd take the 9,000, but I wouldn't touch none of that fucking computer equipment. It's all Apple too. No, that Apple to me stands for intelligence. iPhone stands for intelligence to me. Intelligence phone. I'd rather have a BlackBerry, something shit like that. I'm not trying to be in style with everybody and the whole goddamn nation. Somebody sitting up in Arizona all the way out in the joint and I say some word that makes them go off and now they record my whole goddamn conversation. And I love my country so much I die for it. Serve this country. Know your motherfucking ass ain't even supposed to even be listening to me, nothing over here. Unless you got a Pfizer warrant. Because you think I'm in some type of group. And know goddamn well I ain't in no group. But just because I know something that I learned by watching you, yeah, you wanna listen to me? You wanna what you looking for? They got Pornhub. You want to look at somebody beat off or doing all that? You go on Pornhub, X videos, all that stuff. Go on that stuff. Go in the bathroom, beat off to yourself. Look in the mirror while you beating off. Y'all want breaking into somebody's computer, but you ain't breaking in for the CMB. No, you breaking in to look at their pictures and try to so you can humiliate them by their pictures. Because somebody's sending you there and then find out, yo, really, it's a bank. So guess what that bank happens to that bank for doing that when it comes to me. I don't know what the fuck y'all gonna do. I'm trying to break that bank pocket. I don't give a fuck if it's Jamie Dimon. I don't give a fuck who in charge of the bank. Yeah, if you allowed this to go on, yeah, you telling people, oh, yo, on one side, you telling people Bitcoin ain't real money. But the U.S. Marshal Service is selling Bitcoin because they took it from Silk Road. And this is what y'all don't know. They made Bitcoin legal because they locked up Dread Pirate Roberts from the Silk Road, the U.S. Marshal Service, took those bitcoins he had and start selling them. So it became an asset. So now everybody jumping on Bitcoin think that that's new money. Yo, John F. Kennedy made a dime. Said, yo, I don't want this Federal Reserve. I don't want that shit. That was in 1963. Blew his top off. The person that made Bitcoin, we don't even know who the boy that made it. They said his name like Shishudu or something like that. We don't know who made it, but you trading in it. Yeah, I'm not convinced. I don't know the United States to ever have let the US dollar be anything else but the US dollar because of the Federal Reserve. So if the Federal Reserve, if they ain't getting rid of the Federal Reserve, I don't give a fuck what they say, what they trade. I don't give a fuck because yo, Jamie Dimon talk out both sides of his mouth. Y'all ain't know that? Yeah, Bitcoin is a fiat currency, and then yo, guess what? J.P. Morgan Chase was holding all this Bitcoin. Yeah, they was holding all this Bitcoin. That's talking out the both sides of your mouth. Yeah, buy this. Yeah, that shit is bullshit, but buy it. Telling his people to sell that. So, am I smart? Am I wise? Yeah, people don't just invent no goddamn coins, and yo, I'm trying to tell you that the money actually talks. Literally, look on the dollar. It says something. Mind your business. That's what it say on there. You go get the bills and then translate it, and it'll tell you what it says. The folio set, all of that. That money talk for real. So when it get passed around to certain people, they knew, yeah, mind your business, do what we came here to do. That's what that money is really saying. So if you understand money, the asset of money, you know how to break a bank. If you know what they did, just like some rapper might have said, it's how they did it. Yeah, I'm looking for them numbers. If I see them numbers, then I know that these people know what's up. Because them numbers are always going to be together. So if I don't see those numbers together, I don't want that house. I don't want none of that. Bible is coded, so it's a lot of things that's coded. People think they gangster on here. Yo, I'm trying to tell you, if you really read the Bible, yo, the angels was gangsters. When they was getting ready to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, they told people like, yo, go ahead back inside. We got this. When the boys was trying to rape them, whatever they was trying to do, R word the angels because they look so good. They told them, yeah, yeah go ahead. We'll be right back. And they want to handle their business. But then when they told them go and don't look back, the wife is the one that looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. You could believe it or not. I just believe the Bible. I don't pick parts of the Bible that I don't believe. Like just like if Moses killed one of the, it said Moses killed one of the Egyptians. Ron believe he didn't. It say it. I ain't gotta see it. Just like I ain't have to be there to see, say, I ain't have to stand over Mo 3 and say he did. His mom said he did, and the court said he did. He died. That's enough for me. Crying. Uh, uh, from dust thou art, and from dust thou thy return. That's what it says. It says that he formed the man out of dust, then he breathed into him the breath of life. So that means that to have a life, you gotta have breath in you. But it's breathed by God, he breathed it into you. And when you die, it said it go back to him. Not the body, the breath that he breathed into you. That's why your stomach ain't moving and all that stuff like that. I just take the words for what they say. Same thing I do with these jokers in this world and all of that. Don't nobody got time to be playing no goddamn games or what's the name? If I'm not sure when the way we trying to talk, if I'm not sure, yeah, I'm I'm giving you the googly eyes like, yeah, until I make sure you know, cause I can't see you. We we far away. I don't know who you is. I don't want to know who you is. I know that my name on anything it say MGR no nothing, and that's how MGR gonna stay no nothing. So all the other emojis, yeah, it's gonna be a laugh or look at you like, yo, who is you? I just look at a lot of things, pay attention to a lot of things to make sure I see why, and then when I see what I want to see, yeah. If I can tell you that there's a whistleblower and it's not me, I'm telling you there's a whistleblower. It's not me. Somebody giving me information and I'm putting it out there. Because I checked the information to see if it's real. I don't know who gave it to me. So my loyalty to whoever is giving it to me is my loyalty because that's all I know. If you try to trick me, God gonna find you out or I'm gonna find you out if you're trying to trick me. Because you don't see nothing passing past the screen. But let me tell you one thing. The scriptures say, I have come that they might have life and they might have it more abundantly. So anybody on this earth that tell you that they don't need no money, they a goddamn lie. It's just some people that just don't ask for money. They demand it. Or they do something to make sure that it better be some money at the end of this because I know how far I'm going to go. But I ain't telling nobody. You won't see me up in front of no judge with my hand up and say, yo, the boy did this. Nah, you ain't going to see none of that because you don't hold to your word. I already put a play in the backup that if you don't hold to your word, that's the worst move you ever made because I learned everything by watching you. I study that which I do not practice. The word says, study to show thyself approved. You can't do that unless you read the word. You know what money changers is? Those was the banks. And they used to be right at the church. And God whipped them out of the church because not because they was exchanging money, it was how they was exchanging money and where they was exchanging money. At the temple. That was made as a replica in heaven. That's what the Bible says. That's what I believe. That there's a replica of the temple in heaven, and that the Old Testament shows us what's going to happen in the end. The sanctuary that was here on earth, that was shown in heaven, yeah, it was the forecoming or the foretelling of the coming of Christ, the sacrificial lamb. And then there was the scapegoat. But the scapegoat was killed and buried outside of the land.